And peace in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, what we do is we actually interchange that word peace with compassion, because compassion we feel is more central to the doctrine rather than peace. Okay. But the principle of peace or compassion gets a little bit harder as we grow up, obviously. It gets harder not because the principle becomes harder to understand, but rather because we become further clouded in our hearts and minds. It becomes harder to see this world as one of peace and compassion because of what we call blind passions, okay? And as we live, we have more opportunities to be led astray by our blind passions. So what are blind passions, you might ask? Well, the Ojuzu kind of signifies this. There's 108 beads, or they're supposed to be. This is an abbreviated form of the 108 beads, the 108 different kinds of attachments that we have, okay? And those 108 are kind of symbolized into three main ones, okay? The first one is greed, okay? The second one is anger, and the third one is ignorance, okay? But there is one famous minister, I believe it was Oshita Sensei, who says instead of ignorance, he puts in stupidity, right? Stupidity. So greed, anger, and stupidity, and that the acronym becomes gas. Okay, so we all have gas, all right? And those are the three, what we call three poisons. Okay, the three poisons, and so these are the attachments that we have, and the older we become, the harder it becomes to see the reality as peace or compassion. The easier it becomes to act in accordance to our egocentric selves, okay? This bubble that we create, that we are the center of the world, okay? And so it's harder and harder to see this true reality as one of compassion, as one of peace. And so why then do we need Buddhism? Why then do we need Jodo Shinshu? Why then do we come to Sunday services, hear the boring talks and have to do the boring chants and go through the boring motions of bowing and all these kinds of things, right? Because when we do Gassho, okay, the posture of Gassho is sacred itself. It is the posture of the Buddha, teaching us humility, teaching us this world of this egocentric bubble that we are in, that we are living in. So Gassho is kind of this recalibrating ourselves, of centering ourselves by understanding that even though on a daily basis we live with this in this egocentric bubble of ours, when we come to Sunday services, when we take part in the service and the chants and all these things, and we do Gassho, we are recalibrating ourselves to say that we see that there is a world greater than our own bubble, a world that embraces all sentient beings, a world that is that connects all of us together. And it is through understanding that we become, that we tap into this world of peace, that we tap into this world of compassion. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that our blind passions keep us from seeing true peace and true compassion in this world. And this is why it is difficult to actually find peace and compassion in this world. There is a famous song that I'd like to read to you the lyrics of this song, okay? And try to identify who the singer is, okay? I think you might know who this person is. Quote, "I am starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make a world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change," okay? I tried my best not to sing it as I was saying this, but does anybody know who this might be? Oh, hey, we got one hand. Oh, great, great. Okay, Kyle, who is it?
Michael Jackson.
Yes, exactly. It's Michael Jackson. Yes. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. That's the title of the song, Man in the Mirror. Okay, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Okay, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change, right? And so I think this song really has a nice message that has a Jodo Shinshu element to it. The self has to initiate the change, right? But Jodo Shinshu has a very deep message about what that true change means. True change in Jodo Shinshu means to see that the self has blind passions. The self has anger, greed, stupidity, gas, right? And it is to admit that we place ourselves over others, that in our hearts there are dark areas that secretly ridicule others, hate others, that are envious of others, right? That see ourselves as good, holy, or perhaps maybe even the victim of someone else's wrongdoing, right? This is particularly true of the news here in America that's going on. I am right, they are wrong, right? They are hurting me. They are keeping me from doing what I want to do. They are hindering my freedom, right? I am right, I am the best. I cannot be at fault. And this kind of way of thinking, I think, is very unfortunate because it blocks us from having this unity with other people. Jodo Shinshu is saying to us that we need to see the bombu in our hearts. We need to see the ignorance in ourselves. We need to have the courage to be able to listen to the Buddha Dharma and admit that we are not perfect people and that we place ourselves at the center of our universe. When we do this, if we can do this, we take the first step towards peace. Peace is not found through killing people and making others follow our way of life. We've tried that in many parts of this world and it didn't work, right? Peace is not found at the end of the barrel of a gun. We cannot force peace upon others. In addition, we won't come to true peace by trying to change others or changing public policy or changing our political leadership. Peace does not come also by throwing money at it either. These things are all patchwork solutions, temporary methods to try and find peace. But these efforts are trying to find peace in the wrong places. True peace is found beginning here, right? Kokoro, with the heart. And from this heart, it is emanated to the world. In addition to that, true peace is not found within oneself, but rather in awakening to the world of absolute truth, through the world of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. This is where true peace is, because it embraces everyone. So we have to take the first step towards peace. And when we admit to ourselves that we're not perfect, then we can take the first step towards peace. And that first step is through the posture of gassho, through seeing our true selves as we are. I'm not saying that we should beat ourselves up or that we should be depressed or we should kind of, look at ourselves and say, or, I'm a bad person, that kind of thing, right? It is to say that we are not perfect, right? But it is in understanding this that we see that everybody else is also in the same boat. And that's what creates this sense of unity and universal fellowship. And that's the first step towards peace. And so that is what Jodo Shinshu Buddhism is trying to teach us. So with gassho, with coming to these services and participating in these services, let us recalibrate and center our spiritual selves by putting our hands together in gassho to that which awakens us to this world of true peace and compassion. Thank you very much. And with that, I would like to close today. Please join me in gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 ありがとうございました。Thank you very much.